breaking news from KXAN News.
And that breaking news, a wildfire burning in Kyle, just south of Austin. Good news, though, it's nearly contained. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Marin.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. Our Grace Reader is on the scene right now. Grace, you've been talking to several people there. What do you know and what have you found out?
Sure, you might see this if you're driving down I-35 coming home from work this afternoon. We're off of Yarrington and I-35. Let me step to the side so you can see what's going on here. Crews putting out hot spots at this point. You can still see some smoke behind us, but they do tell me that this is largely contained here. When we got here just about 30-45 minutes ago, Starflight was here. They were dropping water on some of the remaining hot spots. There were a few flames, but nothing too terrible. The spokesperson for the Kyle the Kyle Fire Department did tell me that they sent crews here really quick, and one of the big reasons for that was that we are standing just east of where that 400-acre fire happened over the weekend in Hays County, and so they really wanted to get this under control. The other reason that they really needed to get this under control is that we are right near a mobile home community, Hidden Trails, and so they had evacuated those people for a short period of time, maybe 30 minutes, and then when they realized that this was largely under control, they let those folks go back home. So again, they said that this could have been a whole lot worse, but they had everyone come in here quickly. And on the topic of fires, we did speak to Travis County Fire earlier today. We were talking to some of the ESDs about how they are working hard at collaboration right now, and a tree just fell here. They're working on collaboration right now with Hays County, Williamson County, and among the ESDs, because if this had gotten out of control, everyone wants to send somebody. They are working together, talking about conditions in their area, and they also say that COVID sort of helps them with that because it gave them the ability to use new technology. Here's what one of the ESD folks told me earlier today.
So we do a lot of online meeting, Microsoft Teams, stuff like that, versus trying to all gather up. That's made it a lot easier.
So you might see a little bit of smoke here as you drive home if you're coming from Austin, moving south, Yarrington and I-35, but they say that folks are allowed back in their homes and they are just working to clean up the final hot spots here. Back to you.
All right, Grace Reader, thanks so much. Looking in depth right now across the state yesterday, the Texas A&M Forest Service responded to 12 new wildfires. Those burned a total of 2,700 acres, and the high fire danger isn't easing up anytime soon. So crews are doing what they can to really keep our firefighters safe.
So fatigue is definitely a concern for us, for our own agency, as well as the volunteer firefighters that are out there, as well as the heat stress. But we keep a close eye on everybody, and everybody has to maintain an adequate work to rest ratio on the fire line and off the fire line.
And with so many wildfires burning in our area right now, on KXAN.com, we're tracking all of them. So this map by our digital data reporter, Christopher Adams, is being updated all the time. And it shows you where those fires started and how many acres they destroyed. Just look for that on our homepage at KXAN.com.
And unfortunately, David, you were saying the risk for tomorrow when it comes to fire, even worse.
Today was the worst risk of the year. Tomorrow is going to be worse than today. A big reason is the winds pick up even more so on your Wednesday. Here's the latest projection from our fire expert partners at the Texas A&M Forest Service. 4 out of 5 risk in Austin and many areas, but a 5 out of 5 extreme risk in the northern hill country, even parts of Llano County and Lake Buchanan. That is a very rare fire danger in our area. Look at the winds out there this evening. It's already windier than it was yesterday. 20-24 mile-per-hour gusts from Fredericksburg to Marble Falls and Blanco. Please be extra careful not to accidentally cause a dangerous situation. High temperatures, oh yeah, it's extremely hot again. Yet another triple-digit day. 106 in Marble Falls, 105 in Austin, 108 still in Llano. Coming up in your forecast, I'll show you temperatures that rise further and an extreme fire danger continuing. New 8 to 14-day outlooks looking ahead for any relief.
All right, David, thank you very much. More job cuts in the tech industry. Dell Technologies said today it would be letting go of some staff. KXAN received a tip that layoffs were happening at the tech giant, so we reached out to Dell. They responded, quote, "Some members of our sales team will leave the company. We don't make these decisions lightly and will support those impacted as they transition to their next opportunity," end quote. Now, when we asked how many people would be impacted, they said they weren't going to share those numbers. It's not yet clear if this is related to the 6,000 layoffs the company announced back in February.
Austin police have made an arrest in connection to a deadly shooting last month here in Austin. Tajari Jones has been charged with murder for the death of Tajarius White back on July 16th. Now, that shooting happened at a gas station on Airport Boulevard, and according to the arrest affidavit, investigators say they found Jones's Social Security and ID cards inside that car that White had been in before entering the gas station. Those items had been reported stolen earlier that day. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump both on the road today combating separate issues that threaten their 2024 campaigns. The president related to criminal charges his son is facing.
Meantime, Trump is facing another court hearing as soon as this week and potentially more charges. Here's NBC's Alice Barr.
So I said, you know what, Ron?
The 2024 presidential frontrunners today staking out their positions in opposite ends of a divided country. President Biden beginning a western swing in Arizona, designating a new national monument near the Grand Canyon to protect against uranium mining.
I signed the largest climate bill in the history not only of the United States, but literally in the history of the world.
The president citing his environmental record in a battleground state that's suffering blistering record-setting heat. An appeal to young voters countering the president's low approval ratings amid controversies involving his son Hunter Biden and lingering questions about his age.
I would prefer someone younger than the two candidates who are in the top right now.
Former President Trump speaking to voters in New Hampshire, making both his political pitch and his own legal defense.
There is more enthusiasm today than we ever had in 2016 and 2020. And the reason is because these people are so corrupt and they're so horrible.
It comes as the judge overseeing the 2020 election interference case against Mr. Trump ordered a hearing to settle his legal team's claims that a protective order limiting what the former president can say publicly about evidence violates his First Amendment rights.
A criminal defendant has the right to see evidence against him, but the public doesn't have the right to see that evidence.
Mr. Trump just one of the Republican candidates stumping in New Hampshire today as his former Vice President Mike Pence hit the donor threshold to qualify for this month's debate, while Florida Governor Ron DeSantis replaces his campaign manager in the latest move to reboot his 2024 bid. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And citing his substantial lead over his Republican rivals, former President Trump again suggested today that he may skip that upcoming primary debate. President Biden, continuing his Western tour, heads next to New Mexico and then Utah.
An evacuation at the World Scout Jamboree in South Korea, why the scouts are being forced to leave.
Plus, an extended weather watch from ERCOT, why they say the grid should be fine and why electricity has been costing you so much.
ERCOT has extended its weather watch through Friday, and that's because of what they say is a high fire danger, the higher temperatures, higher demand, and the potential also for lower reserves. Now, the energy grid operator says despite the weather watch, conditions are expected to be normal.
And all of this, of course, comes as Texans are being hit with their highest electric bills of the year. Katie Blakey reports.
Another triple-digit week is here with a cautious eye on the state's power grid.
What we're seeing is at 100, 105, the system seems to be able to handle it pretty well. The wild card is it going to get even hotter?
Energy expert Doug Lewin says solar, wind, and battery are helping meet demand. He worries about the strain prolonged heat can have on power plants, leading to thermal outages.
The climate change is happening that, unfortunately, we are going to see a lot more summers like this, and we need to start getting ready for that. And one of the things that we need to do to get ready for that is to do more energy efficiency.
The ERCOT weather watch comes at the same time Texans are being hit with their highest electric bills of the year. Here in Fort Worth, city leaders say the need for utility assistance is greater than ever.
This has been a record-breaking summer with this heat, with the need. It's just incredible.
For perspective, Fort Worth's neighborhood services received $11 million this year from the state to help people with electric bills. That money is now almost gone.
From January to now, we've gone through more than $10 million.
They're now appealing to the Texas Department of Housing for more funding and trying to find other ways to help Tarrant County residents.
What we can help with is going to be very limited until we get more funding.
And that was Katie Blakey reporting a possible merger for the city's equity office has been put on hold. What the city of Austin decided and who's happy about the decision.
Austin's high temperature so far really hot, 106. Thankfully not quite the record for today's date, set back in 2003 of 110. But it's been 2.5 weeks since any measurable rain. Even that was just 1/100 of an inch in Austin. We'll have your first warning forecast looking through the rest of the week when we come back.
The city of Austin is holding off on merging its equity office with other departments for now. Interim City Manager Jesus Garza made the announcement just hours ago.
And as our Jayla Washington reports, this comes after pushback from community groups who want the office to stay independent, but not all are on board with this delay.
It's been a stop-and-go discussion outside and inside City Hall.
A postponement is a good deal.
Certainly we're disappointed. We're not surprised.
Monica Guzman with Go Austin, Vamos Austin does support the delay of merging the equity office with others.
These people here help.
She just spoke out with community organizations a few weeks ago, worried it would strip power from the office.
It's the only way they can maintain objectivity and their authority to get things done, especially when it comes to continuing with the equity assessment.
Paul Saldana with the Hispanic Advocates Business Leaders of Austin feels differently.
Yes, right.
He, alongside organizations like LULAC, wanted the city to create a new merge department to help with internal issues which were revealed in a 2021 investigation.
They say people.
It accused some equity office employees of hostility toward their black and brown colleagues.
We felt that there needed to be some accountability, and this was a great opportunity for the city to really redirect a commitment of the principles of equity and accountability and respect by setting up a new department.
But that won't happen, at least for now. Interim City Manager Jesus Garza announced he's tabling the discussion to allow council to keep its focus during budget talks.
And once the budget's approved, there are some senior leadership positions that I'm considering establishing as well as restructuring.
And now everyone waits.
If this is an issue important to them, then they need to prove it.
We don't know when it'll come back up again.
Jayla Washington, KXAN News.
And for weeks, city council members have been meeting with both those who support the equity department merger and those who don't. It's still not clear, though, how soon this topic will be brought back up.
First warning weather with Chief Meteorologist David Yeomans.
Well, another day, same story. Let me get you the 3 big things, though, that you need to know about the weather forecast this evening. Number 1, the unprecedented heat wave continues. What do I mean by unprecedented? Well, today, if you've been keeping track along with us, day number 32 in a row, more than a full month of nonstop 100-degree days in Austin. We are leaving 2011 in the dust. That was our longest heat wave in 125 years of record keeping, 27 days. We might hit 40 when this is all said and done. There is still no rain in sight. We're still looking 7, even 14 days down the road. All that we can promise is that over the next 7 days, rainfall projections from our best models and from the National Weather Service here showing nothing in our area. Will that change in 14 days? We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But the fire danger, which has been so top of mind recently with new wildfires every day in our area, this actually keeps increasing. Red flag warning for dangerous fire weather conditions until 11 p.m. tonight, and then again from noon to 11 p.m. tomorrow. This includes the entire area, so please, let's all be extra mindful of anything that could accidentally or quickly cause an outdoor spark or fire. We're also under heat alerts, a heat advisory, a little less serious in the southern hill country, but the rest of us till 9 p.m. and again during the heat of the day tomorrow, an excessive heat warning. How hot are we talking over the next few days? Well, today's highs have so far hit 106 in Austin. I think we rise another degree or 2 later this week. Record highs expected for the calendar days, even during this hottest time of the year, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Average highs, let's remember, are hot, but they're only 99, so we're not supposed to have this many 100-degree days. Remember, if you do have to spend some time outdoors, let's remember our heat safety tips. Drink a lot of water, more than you think you need. Rest in the shade. Keep your pets inside, cool and hydrated as well. When you have to take them out to go to the bathroom or on a walk, be really mindful of the hot pavement. We got a viewer photo today of a pavement temperature reading at 165 degrees. That would burn your hands, and it'll burn theirs as well. Lastly, always look before you lock. Check the back seat to make sure you don't accidentally leave somebody back there when you park. 8 to 14-day outlooks, not real promising with more triple digits expected, although temperatures may start to trend a little bit downward after August 20th. Rainfall, we're not expecting any floods anytime soon, but in our 8 to 14-day outlook, as we touched on yesterday, at least a little chance of some isolated storms may return to the area. Unfortunately, these are the only broad generalizations that we can speak of. We just don't have any specifics in the forecast yet. I will let you know, though, of course, as soon as we do. Tonight's forecast, mostly clear with a nice south breeze at 10 to 20. Temperatures drop down to 78 by morning. Tomorrow, record heat, 107, beating the previous record of 106. And there's why. We've got a little south-southwesterly wind returning. That tends to bump up our temperatures a little. And look how windy it will be, 15 to 25 miles per hour. That's why we expect extraordinary fire danger in many areas tomorrow. After that, record heat continues on Thursday and Friday. Not much relief for the next 7 or more days. Sunshine and temperatures well over 100 in Austin every day.
Thousands of teenage scouts from around the world are being evacuated from a campsite in South Korea ahead of a tropical cyclone. It's the latest challenge facing the World Scout Jamboree, which earlier saw the British and American delegations pull out following an extreme heat wave. 36,000 scouts from 156 countries are having to move because of the storm. South Korea's government has been assuring parents that their children will be safe. Now, the event has already had a number of setbacks, including hundreds of teenagers falling ill from the heat. The American contingent of scouts, as we mentioned, pulled out of this jamboree this past weekend. They moved the kids over to a military base near Seoul.
The response from officials to a Riverside brawl in Alabama, the charges some involved won't be facing.
Tonight on News Nation, he's made the debate stage. But will his tough stance against former President Trump resonate with voters? Former Vice President Mike Pence tells Leland how he plans to distinguish himself from his former running mate. Tonight on Balance. Then on Banfield, the latest on the alleged sexual predator caught after a woman escaped from a cinder block cell in his garage. We're live on the ground in Portland, Oregon, as police now look for more victims linked to this house of horrors all over the country. Tonight, 10/9 Central on Banfield. To find News Nation, go to joinnn.com.